After 20 years of healing, 10 years of being a full-time healer, then here's the truth that most therapists won't or cannot admit because they don't know. Therapy can't fix you. Not because therapists are bad, but because the entire system, the presumption of the system, is built on a misunderstanding and a lie. That you're broken, the past is fixed, and that healing means endlessly processing the same wounds. But Seth and Neville Goddard, other teachers, knew something different. And coming up, we've got the 60-second identity shift that's going to bypass years of therapy. And this all matters because if you don't understand why therapy keeps you just looping, going round in circles, you're going to spend years trying to repair an identity that you are meant to and that you can outgrow very, very quickly. Traditional therapy operates on 6 misunderstandings, 6 assumptions, if you like. 1, that the past is fixed and that it defines you. Number 2, identity is stable, that you are who you've always been and this is just who you are. Number 3, healing must be slow, gradual and painful. Number 4, that it's your emotions that reveal the truth about yourself and your reality. Number 5, trauma's a permanent mark on your psyche. There's something wrong with you because of it. And finally, number 6, the body and mind are separate systems. Now, of course, none of this is true. The past is not fixed. It's a living identity that you're inhabiting right now. You can change that. Identity is literally not stable. It's a choice that you make in every second. And the truth is there's nothing wrong with you. Healing doesn't have to be slow. It's all about awareness expanding beyond the self that thinks it needs healing. But here's when it gets tricky because the New Age, of course, makes the opposite mistakes. It says raise your vibration, clear your trauma, heal the inner child, balance your chakras. And all of this is simply just maintenance at most. It's misleading at worst. It keeps you in a cycle of thinking that you need therapies to make you whole. But the truth is you're actually operating inside the same identity. You're just trying to make it feel better, trying to fix something that you believe is broken. And it's pointless to say raise your vibration and expect that to work. It's nonsense. So let me show you the 2 models and exactly what's happening. So the traditional model has a belief in the past, creates this trauma identity, leading to emotions, behaviors, therapy, and that just goes round in an endless loop. Now let's look at the advanced model of using consciousness. True identity, we could say, comes first, the soul, then consciously chosen beliefs, that's the key, creates a consciously created identity, which leads to different emotions, perception, and reality. Now, therapy works on the emotional level. New Age, obviously, as we all know, works mostly on the emotional level too. It's all about feeling. But very few people ever work at the identity level, in deep belief work. And that's where everything actually shifts. It's the only place where real shifts actually happen. So let's try this right now. We'll go through it, and then you might want to go back and do it again. So pause the video if you need to after we just go through this simple exercise. So ask yourself, which identity have I been trying to heal instead of outgrow through self-awareness? Most people are trying to heal the anxious self, the abandoned self, the unworthy self, the struggling self, the sick self, the powerless self, and the self that's damaged and believes it needs healing in the first place. But here's the truth. All of these identities are formed by limiting beliefs. They're not truths, they're just beliefs, and beliefs can be changed. And so for the next 60 seconds, I want you to do something different. Imagine the version of you who's never had the issue that you've been trying to heal. Not the version who's trying to overcome it or overcame it. Not the version of you who's recovering from it, but the version of you that never had it in the first place. Feel the emotional tone of that. Notice how that version of you breathes, how the body feels. Notice how you might move through the world as that version of yourself. Notice the choices that you would make with that version of self. And then let that identity become your center just for a minute. Just adopt it if you like. And this isn't pretending. It's no more pretending than when you believe that you are a damaged version of yourself. These are choices. This is using your consciousness and expanding into a self that you were always meant to become, a self that you can become. You're beginning to move beyond the limits of your old identity. Now, this is exactly what Neville Goddard was teaching when he said that I am the only creative power. He wasn't teaching visualization techniques, really. He was teaching identity technique. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. You may have come across that. Not your emotions, not your thoughts, not your feelings. Your identity is based upon your belief about who you are, your assumed identity. And the moment you moved into a different assumed identity, the past, the trauma, the story just becomes simply irrelevant. Because you're no longer the person that those things happen to. You are no longer a victim to them. You have changed your assumed identity. And Seth, channeled by Jane Roberts, removed all of the mysticism, which I love, and explained the mechanics, which is you get what you concentrate on. You get what you focus on. Not because it exists out there, but because you create it internally. That means that you can create and are meant to create an identity. You have the soul, then you can create a presumed identity based on your beliefs and understandings and perceptions that create reality. And so here's what actually causes healing. Healing is not fixing a damaged old identity. That's impossible. Healing is expanding awareness until the identity dissolves, until you choose to be something else. So you don't repair the wounded self. When you identify that you will always be wounded, you outgrow it. You choose something different at the identity level, and you step into a different, often much broader identity, one that has no wound, one that has a story that's chosen, no limitations, and the old version of you simply falls away. Not because you fought it, not because you went through therapy to change it, but because you processed it as you should be doing, because you became more. And this is why people who do deep trauma work for years just still feel stuck and they just go round in circles. They're trying to heal an identity that needs to evolve, not be identified as the damaged version of themselves. There's an absolute difference between the two. And so here's your homework for the next 24 hours. Catch yourself every time you are thinking something along the lines of that you want to fix something about yourself, process something, clear something, revisit something. Instead, just say, what would the expanded version of me do right now? Not the healed version, not the recovered from trauma version, but the expanded version, the one who's never had the limitation in the first place. And then take that action. Take that action can be internal as well as a physical action. Even if it feels like pretending at first, because that's not pretending. As I say, that's choosing, that's becoming. That's what we were meant to do, to use the energy and the understanding of beliefs at an identity level. And if you want to go deeper into identity, consciousness, and the mechanics of how reality really works, I dive into this every week in my school community, in the private channel membership here. We also work with that core model of consciousness where we apply teachings, Neville, Seth's, practically so that you can change your life. We focus on identity shifts, not endless processing. So let me know in the comments if you found that useful. If you did, please do like the video and let me know in the comments which identity are you stuck in, or which identity do you feel stuck in? Which identity do you feel ready to outgrow that you're unable to do? I do read every comment and I do reply to them. And I'll see you on Friday when we, on 4-Minute Friday, take one big concept and we dive into it within 4 minutes. If you really enjoyed this, found it useful, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do like the video and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.